"You're early." That was the first thing my wife said when she stepped into the living room and saw me standing there with my suitcase still half-zipped, a jacket thrown over one arm. But it wasn't the words that caught me. It was the way her whole body went rigid, like someone had just yanked a cord inside her and everything froze mid-motion. "I thought you left," she added, quieter now, voice thinning. "You didn't leave?" "The trip is over," I said. My voice didn't sound like mine. It had that hollow metallic edge you hear on recordings of yourself when you're exhausted or trying too hard to sound okay. The silence that fell between us wasn't normal silence. It had weight. It pressed down on the room, on the old beige carpet, on the framed photo of us smiling at her sister's wedding, on the half-open bag of dog treats on the counter that neither of us had bothered to close. She set her keys on the table slowly, too slowly, and I felt something inside my chest twist. You don't notice these things when life is normal. You don't track the way someone breathes, or how long it takes them to look you in the eyes. But when something feels wrong, suddenly every second becomes evidence. "What happened?" she asked, forcing a small smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Did the flight get canceled or?" "No," I said. "I just came back." The truth was, I hadn't planned to come home early. Work retreats were the one thing I tolerated rather than enjoyed, but I went because it mattered to my team, and it kept things running smoothly. But 3 hours into the bus ride toward the mountains, something started clawing at me. An unease I couldn't explain. It wasn't jealousy, I'd never been that guy. It wasn't suspicion either. It was just quiet dread. A low hum beneath my ribs. I sat there listening to two coworkers argue about which frozen lake made the best backdrop for ugly sweater photos. And all I could think of was her face when I said goodbye that morning. The softness in her tone felt forced. Her hug was quick, barely there. And the words "have fun" sounded more like "don't call." Halfway to the resort, I got off the bus. Didn't tell anyone. Didn't think it through. Called a rideshare, went back home, and rehearsed excuses I knew she wouldn't bother questioning. But as I waited in our living room for her to return, the hours stretched long and strange. The house felt different. Air heavier, shadows deeper. Her perfume lingered in the hallway, but it smelled new. Too strong, like she'd put it on in a rush. I tried sitting on the couch, but my legs kept moving. I tried checking emails, but I couldn't read the words. Everything in my body was bracing for something I couldn't name. Now she stood in front of me, eyes flicking toward the hallway, then the bedroom, then the sofa, as if checking what I might have seen. "You should have texted," she said carefully. "I would have. I don't know, I would have made dinner. I wasn't hungry." She nodded once, lips pressed tight. A strand of hair slipped from behind her ear, and she didn't push it back the way she usually did. She just let it hang there, oddly still. I wanted to believe nothing was wrong. I wanted to believe I was tired, paranoid, reading too much into things. That's the thing about betrayal. You don't feel anger first. You feel denial. You want reality to be something you can correct with sleep or a conversation or a hug. But small things kept clicking into place like puzzle pieces you don't want to recognize. Her phone was face down on the counter. Her jacket was inside out at the cuffs, rushed. Her cheeks were flushed like she'd come inside from running. And then she said it, the sentence that cracked something open. "I just didn't expect you home." The way she said it wasn't surprise. It was disappointment disguised as surprise. "I'll grab my bag," she murmured suddenly, brushing past me toward the bedroom. "Why?" I asked. She froze again, one hand on the doorway. "What do you mean, why? What do you need to grab?" She swallowed once, and it was so visible I could almost hear it. "Nothing. I just wanted to take off my shoes." But she stepped into the bedroom with a strange urgency, and something in me followed even before my legs did. She walked straight to the nightstand, lifted her phone from the charger, and tapped the screen like she was clearing something. Not looking at it, not reading, just wiping. "Everything okay?" I asked. "Yeah," she said too quickly. "Just work messages." "At 9 at night?" She didn't answer. I sat on the edge of the bed, watching her move around the room with the kind of nervous energy that doesn't belong to someone with nothing to hide. "You're acting weird," I said quietly. She glanced at me sharply. "I'm acting weird? You came home without warning. You scared me, honestly." "Why would me coming home scare you?" "Because I thought you." She stopped. "I don't know. You usually stick to plans." I looked down at my hands. My wedding ring caught the bedside lamp's glow, and for the first time it felt like a lie wrapped around my finger. Who were you with? I asked, the words spilling out before I could soften them. Her eyes snapped to mine. What? What kind of question is that? Just answer it. I was alone. I let the silence stretch until it grew sharp. Your hair's wet, I said. But you didn't shower here. She blinked. What? Yes, I did. No, I whispered, you didn't. The floor's dry. The towel's dry. Her breath hitched just slightly but enough. And that was when I felt it. Not anger. Not yet. Just the cold, sinking certainty that something was unraveling between us and no amount of pretending would stitch it back together. I saw your location earlier, I said. It wasn't true. I hadn't checked. But I needed to see what truth looked like on her face. Her expression cracked just for a second. A twitch at the jaw, a flicker in her eyes, a breath caught too long. You're checking my location now? She threw back, defensive, voice rising. I'm not, I said quietly. I said I saw it. She realized the difference. Then her shoulders sagged, a slow collapse of resistance. Why are you doing this? She whispered. Because something is wrong. And I need to know what it is. She didn't speak. She didn't deny anything. She didn't cry or run to me or explode in anger. She just stood there staring at the floor like she was waiting for a door to open beneath her. When she finally spoke, her voice was a ghost. I didn't plan for any of this to happen. My chest tightened around a breath I couldn't release. So something did happen.